Shalom to the elect, giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai, Vashem Achakodash. Slack here for the noise in the background, giving double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who well, peace and salutations to the elect. Shemel Mafis Amapa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp of Philadelphia. It's coming with a mother and we lesson. And you have it here about Amazon to pay $2.5 billion in FTC and lawsuit over deceptive practice. Morning in America. Okay, so the news is that, and this is a fair use warning. News Nation. I don't own any of this footage. Morning in America. This is for educational purposes only, and is under fair use. They have it here. The Federal Trade Commission, Amazon has, came to an agreement on a settlement over alleged allegations the company duped millions of customers into signing up for Prime memberships and then made canceling a hassle. Okay? And, this particularly let you know about Babylon the Great, okay, America, which is just full of merchandising and a lot of deceptive and business practices. Okay, your brothers have to, inform themselves before they, sign these different contracts, or a lot of times you need to do your research before, you are pretty much enticed or led into, something that you might not even know you paid for, okay? Because, the person is just looking at you, a sales rep, or even you yourself. You may just go on there without a sales rep and like, hey, I'm getting Amazon, okay? And, I recently had an issue wanting to reinstate a account that was paused, but upon reinstating it, you had them give me a trial for $1.99, I believe, but I didn't want that, but I wanted to pay for an annual renewal, okay, but because you have it with the mobile app and people be using the mobile app to do everything, the mobile app really much omitted being able to pick or choose the particular option for the annual renewing, and it only gave a monthly renewing, for the particular prompt that the person was has when I was trying to correct it and was giving me, okay. And I was like, is it better, and a lot of times you be dealing with AI as well, and I'm like, well, can I just is it better to be done on a desktop? And they did say so, and there's only so much that's shown on a mobile site, and they haven't optimized that for the mobile site, but for the regular website. And then it's like, I wanted particular charges to come out at a certain time. They were trying to charge it, a week trial after, and then charge on top of that the annual fee. So technically, they would be getting more money out of me, $2. So plus the $139 plus the taxes on top of it. So you gotta, know what's going on, man. Get read, file, and print, read contracts, etc. So this is Nahum chapter 3:1. This is speaking, of course, of Babylon the Great, America, all right, which is spiritually Nineveh, okay. So it says here, woe to the bloody city! It is full of lies and robbery, and the prey departeth not. Okay. Going down, it says, when you even go into lies, you go into kachash, which goes into lying or deception, leanness and failure, hypocrisy, okay, and even emasculation, emasculation. Emasculation, let's see what that is. Which is the state of being usually thin or weak, okay? Skinniness, thinness, okay? Yeah. You have it, with this place. It tries to weaken you, by overmastering you within, these different contracts and deals, promotions, etc. Okay, Jake could be still in it. Jake, how is it no contract, but then this guarantees me once I sign up for auto pay this particular price, but I can cancel that anytime, but then I have to renegotiate or negotiate another deal or promotion that's being offered at the time. You move to a different dwelling, you go to a particular place, whether it be a internet service for ISP provider, that entity, that company, is trying to lock you into continuing service with them. Okay. And now, they're trying to eat everything now. These companies are now becoming mobile service providers. Okay. Offering a lot of different things that seem real sweet, but you gotta wonder, is this for my ruin or not? So we're just gonna go into it real quick, man. Amazon right here, lawsuit over deceptive practices.
Then making it hard for them to cancel. So now Amazon, hey, welcome back. Well, Amazon must now pay out $2.5 billion. This after settling a deceptive practices lawsuit with the Federal Trade Commission. So the FTC says the retail giant misled its users into paying for Prime memberships, then making it hard for them to cancel. So now Amazon will pay $1.5 billion to 35 million customers and another $1 billion to the FTC. Joining us now, federal defense attorney Ronald.
See all that money to customers and to another office.
Chapman to help us break this all down. Ronald, good morning. Amazon, to note, not admitting any wrongdoing here. This settlement comes just 3 days into the trial. What's your take on why Amazon settled so quickly?
I rarely get to talk about a settlement that I might benefit from, but I think I might be in one of those 35 million
Yeah.
customers. A settlement in the middle of a trial isn't the craziest thing. It happens all the time, especially as the evidence starts to come in, the sides are negotiating. But the reality is, despite the staggering number that we have here, 2.5 billion, Amazon is going to make that in a few days. Which isn't really going to put a dent in Amazon. Despite that fact, we have...
Yeah, so it's like, is it really going to make an impact? Are they going to continue to do these different deceptive use of these different deceptive, practices? Most likely not. They just find another way, to do so. Just change away their methods and such, and that's EE or Rogue Man. That's that nation's ability. Okay, that's their strength in doing so. All right, you have people on the earth that are the wicked, especially, of course, and the leader. Definitely gotta go to Tiny Top. And such. So, of course, he would use these tactics. Okay, that's part of what the particulars do. All right, the tiny top. So now we go to Genesis. I like to always go to this precept. All right, they are, of course, of this people, which is in the garden. All right, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, yet hath the power said, ye shall not eat of in every tree of the garden. All right, so if it's saying he's more subtle than any beast of the field, okay, this man is very shrewd, okay, and crafty, right, but usually in a bad sense, going back to I or wum in Hebrew from Irum, okay, root word. And when you go into it, the serpent is Nachash, which is a one who is practicing, divination, okay, witchcraft, enchantment, okay, and you be hissing, being whispered, hey, when they doing these deals, you go on these sites, sign in for Amazon. And that's a way, of them making everything seem like it's gonna be great. You're like as of lately, I've been seeing the decline of even their service. Customer service been changed over to AI. You gotta basically be on your desktop to really see if you can get a call back. If you use the mobile app, and make it very difficult to get to a agent, a human agent, and even that human agent may still do things in their favor to keep you from getting the service you want. Okay, particularly that company, they seen that an item was allegedly supposed to be delivered to a particular service box that they have, but on my end, it said that it was a delivery attempt multiple times. They have been paid, but then the item is not being delivered. But then they wanted, you have to, just wait until it get delivered, and et cetera, et cetera. Hey, can you have it sent to another property? Oh yeah, we can. The phone associate says they're gonna do stuff and they're not doing it. So it's like you gotta watch out here. Okay, so the scriptures always warn us too to never trust thine enemy. We gotta be on this type time, for sure. Okay. Sirach chapter 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Okay. Straight to the point. Never trust thine enemy. The rogue man is the enemy. Alright. So, you see, we value as a customer and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, make it where you could renew anytime. You could cancel anytime, and you can't even cancel.
I have a lot of customers, and the
Making it
internet
hard.
tests that were part of this case showed were tricked into purchasing Amazon, but it's even more problematic because they couldn't get out of Amazon Prime once they'd actually purchased it, which obviously impacted a lot of customers who might have been struggling to make ends meet at the time.
Right, you have it where they done signed up. They taking out however they done do it, maybe $14 a month. The person can't afford that, but that money is being deducted out.
So settlements will be automatically paid out here, thankfully. This isn't like a class action where you need to make an individual claim and deal with a lawyer.
Well, that is an important distinction, and there will be quite a number of people, you can imagine, who are going to be benefiting from this. So the money, $2.5 billion, it's not a lot if you do the math, with 35 million customers. What are we talking about, like $50 each? Is this a fair settlement?
No.
Well, I think it's all.
Rogue man has to be taken out the way. All right. Let's talk about. This is Yeah, you know, it'll be great to go into this more. You know, but we making these very straight to the point. This is real quick. Proverbs 26. And it says, I'm just going to go straight to the point. This is here, Proverbs 26 and 26. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be so showed before the whole congregation. All right, we're seeing the wickedness of E, all right, being shown before all of Yasha'Allah, all right, especially amongst us of the elect, all right, hopefully elect right now, okay, and we seeing E fall into his own trap, because at the end of the day, he's gonna have to vomit these witches back up, okay, it's this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, or Cuss, chapter 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And these are unrighteous dealings, yeah, sign up for this, man, then you can't get out of it. You sitting there trying to find a way. Like, just go on the Amazon site and then look under like the different options under your profile and see where you can find customer service. It's at the very bottom, showing you that they really don't want you to use their customer service option. They try so hard to make it where they keep your money, okay, and don't want to provide the service a lot of times. Okay, you just want the option area. I paid y'all. I just want the item. They making a runaround just to get the item. They're making it less that they try to compensate you for your wasted time, etc. All right, so you have to watch out in Babylon, man. For these goods that these, Amazon is just a hoarder of goods. Okay, and just doing merchandise. All right. So you just gotta watch out. All right. So yeah, I could leave it at that. Really, you're the spirit, and that's gonna be it. I'm gonna leave it at that. So shalom to the elect, all praise and honor go to Yahweh Shemashah, double honors to the apostles and others of Great Millstone, who well peace and citation to the elect.